Hello guys, this is Precedent. I'm back. In this video, I'm going to talk about the best openers of the patch and like what to play them into, slash like how to play these openers. I just want to apologize for not making YouTube videos for a while, but I'm back. For the time being, I just want to like let you guys know I won't be using cam in like the videos. Usually around like this time of the year, my allergies with my eczema sort of like beats me up. So yeah, on to the video. Okay, to jump right in, I'm sort of doing like a different format. Like if you watch my previous like openers videos, the reason I did like the format I did initially before was because of chosen mechanic. But I think like with the chosen mechanic gone, it's much better for me to explain sort of like what tier like the units are in this format. And so like in the top row, I have the S tier units, the A tier, B tier, and C tier. For example, Sivir I think is the best sort of like AD item holder in the early game opener right now. Darius is the best melee item holder in the opener right now, and Zyra is the best AP item holder out of like all the early game units right now. I also put like their items to like sort of like classify them in like a certain category. Like Darius here, I put like the healing items as well as like AP frontline. Later on, you can see like how it translates into what you play later. I basically just put like generic AD items into all like the people that can hold the AD items, which would mainly be like DB Last Whisper. I gave Rage Blade to all the people that can use Rage Blade really well as well. And yeah, so Sivir is the best AD item, Darius best melee, Zyra best AP, and I split them into 1 cost and 2 cost. Caitlyn, I would say, would be the second best like 1 cost AD item holder. Ari is out of the 1 cost like the best AP item holder. But like she's a really strong unit, but I don't think like the Fade Opener is that good. Kog'maw, like down here, I generally I wouldn't really ever to like look to carry these guys if you can avoid it. I would try to stick between these 4 if possible. And in here we're starting off on 2 costs. We have Zyra. She's AP item. Kiana is like melee, sort of like the same category as Darius. Senna's AD, and then these guys are all AP item holders. And then like these, like just like with Rage Blade as well. Like I just showed like who can use Rage Blade probably better than the others. That was sort of like the item holder, like carry item holders. And here I have like a tier list for the frontliners. I have Kobuko and Rek'Sai as S tier, Jax, Cho'Gath, Yasuo, Riven, Yorick is A, and C for this tier, and then D for this tier. I didn't really put itemization to every single one because it's just like this is sort of like a tank category. Like they can all use the same, like tank items don't really change that much. It's just like they can all use these exact same tank items. So I only put it on Rek'Sai to show. And then the comps that you ideally will be playing these openers into are here. Kayn, like here like the melee, like the 4 cost melees, Kayn, Lee Sin, trick shots, Ashe. I put Lissandra here just because show that she can use like items like Shojin if you do slam AP items early, but you don't really play into like the AP that well. And then fast, like the fast 9 options, like Aurelia and Azir. And I also put Gnar here, although personally I don't really think Gnar is that good, but I like some spots he is playable. He would just be like sort of like the same category as like Lee Sin and Kayn in terms of itemization. And yeah. Okay, jumping into our first opener is Darius, is Heavenly slash Umbral, with Darius as your primary carrier. I put an item on Darius to show that he's your main like damage dealing item holder, and then you can have Yorick as like your main like actual tank item holder. And the reason why is because these are the units that you typically discard from this setup. So this is like one variation of Darius. It's sort of Heavenly. Like this is like the ideal level 4 if you can. This is an extremely strong opener. More times than not, there's 5 streaks. And like as you push level 5, you sort of just you just slot in more heavenly units. Like you can slot in Nico. Level 6, you just slot in like another heavenly unit like you happen to find, and you sort of just play your strongest board all the way until level 8, which is what this transitions into. Usually typically transitions into Kayn slash like Lee Sin, which is heavenly melees. That's what I call it. Darius has a direct item translation into either Lee Sin or Kayn. And then you can like if you have enough tank items, you just jam them onto Nico, or you sell them and then you just play like something like this. Like it doesn't have to be both, it can be one or the other. You just like looked into transition into that like heavenly melee board. Going back, there's like another version of Darius that you can play throughout the early game. It's not heavenly. This is not like as good in my opinion as the heavenly opener, simply because it's like the fade units are not like they're like okay, like they're not like that good. Like some of them are like strong, but it's like you'd much rather not pivot into faded. You'd rather hold the heavenly unit so you can pivot into heavenly melees a lot better. Yeah, like this is another variation. You still itemize Darius. Darius is he's like the king of one cost. And yeah, you can play this board and eventually just like slot them out for heavenly units, like once you like happen to get them, and then you would just be the exact same transition into like heavenly melees depending on your itemization. That covers like one of the strongest openers in the game right now. On to the next one. This is another opener. It's you've probably seen these units before. It's the same thing as Kog'maw reroll, but you sort of use them as like a tempo. Like Cho'Gath is like obviously the best item holder out of these three for frontline. Caitlyn is a lot better than Kog'Maw because I don't really recommend sort of like slamming AP items from a spot like this, because slamming AP items from a spot like this typically leads you to like Lilia, and I don't think Lilia as a primary is good at all this patch. So ideally you want to itemize Caitlyn, and with Caitlyn like you put AD items on her, like Rageblade, like any sort of AD is really good. And then what you would play this opener into would be Ashe. Ashe is extremely strong right now, and you can sort of keep Kog'Maw the entire game. It makes the transition really easy because you don't get Kog'Maw jailed. This is like what the level 5 would be. Level 6 would just be ideally Alawi. Alawi is like your best level 6. Level 7 would be anything like any Warden or whatever. And then level 8 is typically when you transition into the Ashe, like an Ashe board, with Caitlyn items being like a direct translation towards Ashe. This is another opener during this patch that leads you into one of the best comps in the game right now, which is, I would say, like Ashe Flex. This is another extremely strong opener right now. It is playing around Sivir. Storyweaver opener. I think Rek'Sai is the best item, like the best unit that you can itemize. She's like the tankiest out of like the 3 options that you have in present. Typically Sivir is like not that strong without Teemo, because she like the trick shot, 2 trick shot is like kind of a big deal to her damage, but you can still play this opener without finding trick shot early if you have like a Sivir too. You can play this opener into 2 different things. You can play this into trick shots as well as Ashe. It's just like you sort of just lean depending on your itemization. Like Rageblade, I would, or both the comps need Last Whisper. But with Rageblade, I would try to lean more towards Ashe if you can. With no Rageblade, I would probably try to lean more towards trick shots. And yeah, this is also another extremely strong opener. You basically run Sivir all the way until you find like either Ashe or Thingy. Ashe or Kai'Sa, and like as you push levels, it would just be like anything that makes sense. So like in this example, like in specific, like Gnar is like a good slot in just for like synergy wise, gives Dryad to your Rek'Sai as well as like Warden to your Garen. It makes your what's like you buffs like two frontline units, and you are basically just playing for like stall for your backline. Yeah, and then you sort of just like add whatever from here on until you can get to level 8. For example, you could just go like Soraka for Altruist. This is like one variation. You sort of just like try to like make any sort of like front to back setup with this. Like you just try to buff up your front line as much as you can as you push levels, since your back line, like a 2-star Sivir with good itemization, is like really strong. And then yeah, eventually into either Kai'Sa. If you play Kai'Sa, you need to hold a Sivir replacement, because this is not a unit without 4 trick shot. This unit needs 4 trick shot to even be considered a unit. And then Ashe, like the Ashe transition, make sure you hold some sort of sniper. Ideally it's Kog'Maw, because you can just get Mythic for free by adding Nautilus +1, and 3 Mythic 4 Nautilus helps him cast, and it helps him out a lot. It doesn't have to be Kog'Maw though. You can do a bunch of different variations for Ashe. She is like playing around Ashe, like an Ashe showdown is extremely flexible. Yeah, these are the 2 main transitions for Sivir. The next one is like a sort of faded opener. I went over this in the Darius setup, but this one I'm more so talking about like an Ahri itemization type of opener. And usually like that's like when you don't have like BT, stuff like that, but like Rageblade is really good on Ahri. Like some sort of like backline item instead. I don't think this opener is that good with Kindred over Thresh. Like I think this opener, it becomes like 50 times stronger with Rush, and I think it's like actually like pretty bad with Kindred. Like sometimes it's like the best opener you have, sometimes you just have to do it for 3 faded. Yeah, like you could literally just do this as well. It's just like no Thresh, no Behemoth. But yeah, Ahri is strong. It's like a strong unit. She just has like she just doesn't transition that well. Like what I mean by that is like the faded line is not that good in my opinion. I don't think faded is that strong. In this patch, like it's not like optimal like play in this patch. And yeah, like you just play Ahri. Like as you push levels, you can just add whatever. Like here, you can add Nico for more frontline. Or if you're lacking damage, you can just like Zoe. You can put anything. And ideally, like 5 faded is still an extremely strong mid game, but you don't want to lock yourself to the faded line. Like again, faded is really bad in my opinion. I mean, it's not like really bad. It's just okay, I personally think it's bad. But yeah, you can, like, depending on your itemization, like in this example, you have Rage Blade. Like sometimes you can even just like give her DB, like whatever. It's just an item holder, and you'd pivot this into Ashe again, like Ashe Flex. It just depends on all depends on itemization. I wouldn't really recommend Ahri with like sort of like Kai'Sa. So like I wouldn't really recommend pivoting her into like pivoting from Ahri into Kai'Sa, because you have to hold way too much stuff, and like Kai'Sa's terrible with Rage Blade, which is something that like is really strong with Ahri Opener because you have lots of frontline. And yeah, like you can pivot this into Faded, but don't expect that good of a placement. That's like one. I think that's all I have to say about the Ahri Opener. Yeah, like Ahri's like strong. It's just like the lines that like she transitions into is like not that good because like her itemization doesn't really fit that well into like the meta. This is another opener. I think you can play this from like a Zyra drop. Zyra 2 is really strong right now, and Zyra 2 is the best AP item holder to get you to like to push for fast 9 with. After she got buffed, she is kind of a demon with items. And yeah, like this plays extremely similar to the Sivir opener. Like sort of like your backline is just more so just focus on Zyra, and you just gem in like whatever frontline / like units make sense. Like for example, you can get Sage in. You just like if you find a Diana, get this. Like you can play 4 Storyweaver sometimes. Like it's fine. Like it's just like some sort of extra backline. Like Alawi here. Like this makes 4 Storyweaver seem like a little more better, because like you actually benefit from Arcanist as well. And like you basically like when you fast line with Zyra, you're just trying to make like a board that like makes what like as much sense as possible to get yourself to level 9 as safely as you can. Sometimes you need a slight roll on level 8 to go 9. I probably would still recommend Zyra 2 over any of the one star variations of the 4 cost AP item holders. These are probably like the only 3 4 costs. I would still recommend Zyra 2 over all 3 of these at 1 star. There's a really high chance I would recommend Zyra 2 over Morgana 2 as well, just because Zyra has lots of single target. You kill a lot more units. And yeah, you just like sort of like look for ways to buff up your front line. Diana. Boom. Like when you're playing fast 9, you truly transition Zyra items into Azir items. Like sometimes if you have something like this or something like that, you can transition it into like an 80 item carry plus mana / AP items on Lissandra. I don't recommend this. Like Lissandra is definitely like a game warping unit right now. She's like extremely strong, but she does not really need items to become oppressive and do her job. Like if you can, I would recommend Azir. Azir 2 is extremely good with AP items. He hits like a truck, and yeah, and then but you typically need to duo carry him with someone else. Like Xayah is like the best like 80 like 5 cost 80 item duo. She doesn't need 4 trick shots. She just only needs 2. Like she can get away with 2. Like ideally she'd like 4, but like if you're carrying another unit with her, like it's fine. Aurelia is pretty solid as well. She can definitely work, although I think Aurelia is like is weaker than Xayah. It's like sort of like Zyra 2 is probably is for sure the best AP unit to fast 9 with this patch. And moving on to the next opener, we have Fortune. Even after the nerfs, I think Fortune Opener is extremely strong still. If you play it right, you manage your HP well, and you don't have to take max loss every single round to cash out. I think Fortune is still strong. The ideal cash out into Fortune is still Kai'Sa, or Kai'Sa is still like the best cash out for Fortune. It's a super easy transition. This was like pretty dominant for like most of the set release so far. So like odds are like you're familiar with this transition / like this board as an extremely transition into 4 bruiser, but you can sort of like the only thing that you really need is just like the backline does not change. You need 4 trick shot. The front line can change depending on like what you cash out into. For example, you can go like Nautilus plus any warden, like that works too. Like Nautilus plus any warden, depending on what you cash out. Just like you just want to like make any front line that you can for your 4 trick shot backline. That like you just play around your upgrades. That's like the main focus of this. And yeah, you can just click on any of them. This is for sure like the best cash out still. I don't think cashing out into Ashe is better than cashing out into trick shots. And yeah, you just item hold Tristana to try and save HP until you get to Kai'Sa. Well, I think that covers about like every single optimal opener this patch so far. And yeah, bye bye. See you in the next video.